It was one of those deceptively peaceful Saturday mornings when the world feels as though it's stretching slowly awake, sunlight sliding across rooftops like warm honey, the breeze carrying the soft rustle of leaves, and the only sound in the neighborhood being the quiet hum of distant lawn sprinklers. I stood in my driveway with a steaming mug of coffee, admiring the flawless reflection on the hood of my 1967 Mustang. A car that wasn't just a car, but years of sweat-soaked evenings, scraped knuckles, countless weekends, and the kind of patience only true restoration work can demand. Every chrome curve, every polished edge, every purr of the engine held stories only I knew. It wasn't merely a vehicle. It was my sanctuary, my legacy, my escape from the noise of the world. And on this calm Saturday, I had every intention of enjoying it alone. No friends needing a joyride, no curious neighbors asking to just feel how it drives, and certainly not anyone from the HOA, because the HOA, especially under the control of one very specific woman, had a habit of inserting itself into things it had no business touching. And right on cue, as if summoned by fate or mischief, came the knock. Sharp, curt, annoyingly confident. Three taps, one, two, three, packed with the unmistakable rhythm of someone who believed the world owed them immediate attention. My gut tightened. Knocks like that only meant trouble in suburban America, and deep down, I already knew whose shadow was waiting behind the door. Opening it only confirmed what I already felt. There she stood, Mrs. Karen Whitmore, the infamously feared HOA president, ruler of petty fines, queen of ridiculous rules, and dictator of everything from mailbox height to lawn color. Her perfectly perched sunglasses gleamed like tiny shields, arms crossed in the universal posture of someone ready to deliver a problem wrapped in fake courtesy. Her smile was tight, too tight, the kind that was pasted on for performance, not sincerity. "Good morning, Chief," she cooed, voice dripping polished sweetness that felt more like syrup poured over cold steel. "I hear you're not letting anyone borrow your classic car today." I didn't bother masking my irritation. I took the slowest sip of coffee imaginable. "That's correct, Karen, I'm not lending it to anyone." She tilted her head, that subtle little tilt she always used when preparing to escalate something unnecessarily. "Well," she said, "a community is stronger when its members share." "Don't you think so?" Her tone tried to sound gentle, but beneath it was an unmistakable demand: comply or suffer. "Mrs. Whitmore," I replied evenly, "it's my car, I decide who drives it, that's the law, that's common sense, and that's the end of the conversation." Her smile widened, too wide, too forced, too ready for a showdown. "Oh, I know about the law, Chief," she said, reaching slowly into her purse, "and that's why I've already called the police. We'll sort this out officially." I froze, not out of fear but disbelief. This woman had called the police because I wouldn't let her borrow my Mustang. The Mustang she had zero ownership of. The Mustang she had no right to even touch. But then the absurdity rippled through me and almost made me laugh out loud. She didn't know. She genuinely had no idea that the man she'd just weaponized law enforcement against wasn't just any neighbor, he was the chief of police. I set my mug down deliberately. "Karen," I said, stepping closer, "you do realize you're talking to the chief of police, right?" Her jaw trembled for a microsecond. The tiniest crack in the polished facade appeared, a flicker of panic she tried desperately to bury. But being Karen, she doubled down instead of backing off. "Well, Chief," she sniffed, "I don't think titles matter here, I just want what's best for the neighborhood." I crossed my arms, the urge to laugh threatening to break through. "And calling the cops over a car you don't own is what's best." Before she could manufacture another line of nonsense, the distant wail of sirens drifted down the street. Not blaring, just the lights rolling quietly, professionally. Two patrol cars rounded the corner, tires whispering against asphalt. Karen's triumphant smirk wavered when she realized I wasn't moving, wasn't panicking, wasn't scrambling, because I knew what was about to happen. The officers stepped out, shoulders squaring, until they saw me. Recognition hit instantly. One gave the smallest stiff nod, like a man greeting his boss while pretending to be neutral. Karen, unbelievably oblivious, gestured dramatically. "I called them, they'll handle this." "Oh," I said calmly, "they'll handle it, just watch." "Chief," my sergeant murmured under his breath. "You need us to educate her." I smothered a laugh. "Not yet, let's see where she wants to go with this." Karen's eyes darted wildly between us, confusion slowly seeping in as the officers obviously refused to play along. She began fumbling with her phone, tapping the screen with frantic, chaotic energy. "I have video evidence," she muttered loudly enough for the entire block to hear. "Witnesses, board approval, everything." "Karen," I replied patiently, "no amount of shaky footage changes the fact that I'm not legally required to lend my personal property to anyone." She glared at me, then whirled toward the street. "The HOA board is coming," she announced dramatically. "They'll handle this." And soon enough, like some bizarre parade of suburban authority, they arrived, clipboards, cameras, pursed lips, self-importance radiating off them like heat waves from pavement. They lined up behind Karen like foot soldiers behind a general who had already lost the battle but refused to accept defeat. "Chief," Karen declared with theatrical fury, "the community has rights and you will share that car." Neighbors peered out from windows, blinds shifting, phones recording. My entire street became an audience. I stepped forward, my voice carrying with the calm certainty of someone who knew he held the truth and the law. "Listen carefully," I said, making eye contact with each board member. "This is a private vehicle in a private driveway. There is no law, no policy, no HOA guideline on this earth that forces a homeowner to lend out their car. Silence crashed down like a heavy curtain. Even Karen's most loyal board members were shifting uncomfortably, facing the reality they'd conveniently ignored. One whispered to another. Another cleared his throat awkwardly. Someone in the back muttered, "Well, maybe we overreacted." Karen's face burned red. Fury, humiliation, confusion, every emotion tangled behind those designer sunglasses. She turned in a sharp huff and barked, "This isn't over, I'll report this properly." Her loyal soldiers scurried after her like defeated troops retreating from a hopeless battle. The officers gave me a look halfway between amusement and apology. The neighbors chuckled. My Mustang gleamed in the sunlight, smug in its victory. I took a long, satisfied sip of coffee as the last of the chaos dissolved back into quiet suburban normalcy. In my career, I dealt with riots, standoffs, car chases, criminals with nothing to lose. But somehow this HOA showdown topped them in sheer absurdity. And as I leaned against my Mustang, watching Karen storm back to her house to plot whatever petty revenge she could conjure, I realized something simple and timeless. You don't need force to win every battle. Sometimes you just need the truth, the law, and a whole lot of patience to let absurdity expose itself.